Hello, Shrewdness fans. Welcome to the show today. Chiz and Dex are here with me. We are going to talk about Royals and Chiefs and maybe some Mizzou football. Any other Midwestern sports we need to hit on, guys?
No, hockey season's rolling around soon, though, and NBA.
Sporting
NBA
KC's
hockey.
coming into St. Louis this weekend.
Yes, and they suck.
Well, it's early.
It's early, except really late.
It's early in, soon to be October. All right, I don't even have a good one. I got nothing.
So let's jump into it. We're going to start with the Royals. We have 5 games left to play, and it is tight.
So
Chiz,
tight.
Are they going to
Every
survive?
metaphor is not a good thing to say.
We won tonight.
We won tonight. That one is good.
We broke the 7-game losing streak. We won 1-0 in 10.
Our offense came to life with one run.
They had to set a guy on second base to start the inning for us to get a run across. That was the only way it was happening.
And make sure Bobby Witt comes up.
That's right.
That's the only way to make a run happen.
Oh!
But we were going against a powerful adversary in the Washington Curly W's Nationals. The Curly Dubs gave us 9 shutout innings. Unbelievable.
The offense is already in Cancun. It is given up.
Like we mentioned last week, if the Royals continue to squeak into the playoffs, it's going to be by the grace of God, I think, at this point.
Ooh, yeah. For sure.
Their offense is lost. Their pitching is getting tired. They managed to shut out tonight, amazingly, but yeah, dropping 7 in a row the week before the end of the season is
not ideal. Not an ideal strategy. I mean,
so let me give you guys an analogy. The 7th grade young Brent was foolish enough to run track, and I showed up to a track meet, and I was supposed to run the 100, which is about 50 yards too long for me, honestly. And the guy who was going to run the 4x400 relay anchor didn't show up. And so our wily, astute track coach, Coach Byrne,
potential,
who was actually a football coach, said, "Hey, Chisholm, you're going to run the 4th leg of the 4x400 today." And I said, "Hey, Coach, never done that before." And he said, "You'll be fine." So I got the baton to run in the last leg. I was dead last when I got it. The guy in front of me was probably a quarter of the lap ahead. And I took off running my 100 pace. And I was catching him. And I was, woo, I'm going to get him. Woo, and crowd's going wild. I hear him, yeah. And I got halfway around, and it felt like my legs were in wet cement when I was like, oh my God. And I got to that home stretch and I was like, I'm going to kick now. I'm going to kick. And there was no kick. It was just fuming in. It was slow-mo Chiz running across, like walking across the line. And that is the 2024 Kansas City Royals. I mean,
but did you finish?
Barely finished.
There we go.
Did you get into the playoffs?
The wet cement is just caking on the Royals' legs right now. It's just like, oh, can we make it across the line? This team, which got us so excited and like got our hopes up, and we were like, they were going to make the playoffs for the first time in 10 years.
We were highlighting our best bullpen, getting our bullpen comps to those championship teams.
Woo, just trying to fall across the line. The Detroit Tigers have caught us.
We're averaging 1 run a game in the last 5 games.
Ooh, it's just tough. The only thing you can hope is, baseball is a game of streaks. The only thing you can hope is in these last few games, we start to catch fire again. And if you can, shake off this nonsense that's happened for the last 10 days.
Maybe today was that day. You had to get a hard win against the Curly Dubs. And they did it. So now, as we sit at the time of this recording, we are 2 up on the Twins, 2.5 up on Seattle, tied with Detroit for the last 2 spots in the wild card race. We are in if the season ends today. We just need to probably, in all honesty, we have 5 games left. We got 2 more against the Ratty Natties, and then we've got 3. And this is what sucks is we have to go to hot Atlanta, who's also vying for a wild card spot, whereas the Mariners get to go pummel on the soon-to-be Las Vegas A's, and Minnesota, at least they have to play a competent team in the Orioles, but the Orioles can't really miss the playoffs, and they can't catch the division leader, and they've already got enough games up where they can't really lose their seeding. They're going to be the top wild card team. So
they're kind of locked.
They're going to rest their starters. I would.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to play the next couple games, then you'll give some guys some at-bats, and if whoever needs it, sounds good. But your best pitchers, you're just going to give them a couple extra days, man.
Right.
So I think Minnesota doesn't – yeah, exactly. I mean, unless you guys see it differently, that's how I would do it. And you can't lose a position. You can't go up or down.
I would totally do it that way. I would totally do it that way. The only thing that would deter me from it, because I've seen this so many times in different sports, is the hard part for them is if they – no, that's not true. Because whoever they let in
right off the bat
is no, that would be the worst division winner that gets the worst
3, 6,
wild
and 4,
card.
5, though. Yeah.
Right. So they're 4.
Whoever
they're locked in the 4.
They're locked in 4,
yeah.
So they'll play either Detroit or hopefully Kansas City.
Right. So it's not like they're letting in their opponent is the thing.
That's exactly right.
So that would be the thing that concerns you, is because if you let a team in and then you got to play them, you're kind of like, that just feels weird and not good.
I guess technically, if they sweep Minnesota, they're out.
True.
So
true.
I don't know. I guess in that respect, maybe you don't want to let them in. Maybe they will just play them just to.
I tend to think you're right, though. I tend to think like the Royals are going to be the only ones going up against. And let's look here. So Atlanta is now 1 game out of the final wild card spot.
Yeah, they're going to get everything they've got.
And they've won 3 in a row.
Yeah,
they are playing well. They're the only other team in contention. The Cubs are eliminated. So now it's down to it's either going to be Arizona, the Mets, or Atlanta. You got 2 of those 3 teams that are playing. So we can hope that Atlanta loses a couple games and maybe they're out of it and
mails it in.
But it's probably not good.
I think that's hopeful thinking. But as far as for tomorrow, I think we have Lorenzen is going for us, which could do worse. I don't have a problem with Lorenzen going against Washington. It's just the bats need to show up, right? If we don't hit, you can't win with 0. So we tried today, and then they made us score a run.
We actively tried.
Yeah, you don't get any points for just having a base runner. You got to actually get them all the way around the bases. So
that's right.
It'd be really nice if they could find a hot streak going in.
Thursday you got Waka versus Corbin. That's a huge advantage. Corbin's got a 5.58 ERA, which, my goodness, that should wake up the bats if nothing else does.
That is the nice thing about that is the next 2 days, hopefully you can get a little confidence back.
Right.
Start hitting some sweet spots. And,
because what you don't want to do is in those last 3 games against Atlanta, what you would not want to do is on the 29th of September, which is the last game of the regular season, have to wheel out Reagans.
Oh, my
God.
Which they will be able to do.
Right.
Because he pitched today.
They could
have 4 days rest to be able to pitch on Sunday. And if needed, our ace can pitch that day. But then
he's gone.
We're not going to have him for the best 2 out of 3 series.
Right.
And now it hurts. Then you're relying on Singer and Silugo, which he kind of sounds foolish saying that now. He's just lost it. It was so fun when it was real, though. It was fun when it was real. And
if we could just play the first half of every season, he would be.
He actually made it up till late July, though. And then, I believe Chisholm said in one of our August pods, "Oh, there's the dead arm." And he had 2 rough spots, and then he rallied for a start.
Yeah,
And
he was
then,
like, maybe. Then it's like,
he's just gassed, man. He looks gassed.
I mean, he's a mid-30s starter who's thrown more innings than he ever has in his whole career.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's a bad recipe. We're lucky he hasn't gotten hurt, honestly. So
he's thrown 40 more innings than the next highest.
Whew, like
Which
we have
is
definitely
phenomenal.
gotten our money's worth.
Absolutely.
With that dude.
Like that's 40 more innings that the bullpen did not have to pitch when they were terribly.
Right. And they were
So,
terrible at that time.
He did not have a good August by any means. Since August, though, August 30th, gave up 1 run. 9-4, he gave up 1 run. This last start gave up 2 runs. He had a 7 innings, no runs against the Yankees.
Yeah.
Got lit up a little bit by Detroit, but he's had 4 out of his last 5 starts have been pretty solid. So
Right.
He may have enough for a few more starts.
I mean,
that's all we need.
let's just look at he has 16 wins. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Right.
He has a 3.03 ERA. That's phenomenal. And that's so even given he's had these rough starts down the stretch, that's raised it to 3.03. I mean, This dude's been unbelievable. So all in all, I'm super happy. We just need to get in there and chip in a chair in the playoffs, in a bullpen, and Bobby Witt and Salvi. And I've always loved Fam. So
that's right. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Fam.
So to give you some perspective, over the last 24 games, the Royals are 7-17.
Okay.
So
it sounds even worse. But I guess when you have a 7 in a row in there, that's how
2 7s in a row.
Oh, that's true.
2 7s in a row.
Yeah.
So that has been a really rough stretch. Still on the bright side, winning season for the Royals since the 2015 World Series championship team. So that's pretty cool. I'm very happy about that. Like it's a successful season. Even if we don't make the playoffs, it's hard to say that right now because we're so close. But like, even if we choked out on this and we totally didn't even make the playoffs, like to do what we've done is pretty insane. But it sure would be nice to have a chip in a chair, like you said, Dex.
It would. And Bobby Witt Jr., no matter what happens, we have a 30-30 shortstop who I think is 22, and he's going to win a batting title.
Yes.
So that's
just crazy.
I meant to look. How many hits does he have now?
He's 335, and he has 208.
208,
after today's game.
Yeah,
25 doubles, 11 triples, 32 dingers, 108 RBIs, 55 walks. Even Lewis will be proud of that number.
Right.
392 on base. He's off the 400 he was on for much of the season.
Right.
But a 989 OPS from your platinum glove shortstop at 22. Hell yes.
Did he get
we will take that all day.
So he was tied with George Brett. Did he have an extra base hit today? I didn't see what he did today.
I thought he had 2 singles.
I think he did too.
As of a couple days ago, anyway, he was 1 extra base hit away from the Royals record.
Yeah,
a week. I'll give him the over/under on that is yes.
He's got 88 extra base hits, and I think 89 by Hal McRae.
I guess he was 1 for 5 today. 1 for 5 today.
Oh, he just got a single then, because that was his game-winning hit in the 10th inning.
Yeah.
So anyway, he needs a couple of extra base hits to set the Royals record for extra base hits in a season. That's how good his 2024 is.
I mean, that's really, we really do need to acknowledge how incredible that is. I will say, I took in thinking like, hey, this might be close, but I'm going to do it anyway. I took Bobby Witt's over hits number for the year.
I think it was like 172 or
171, and
I think I have the same.
I was like, "Ooh, I don't know. That seems pretty high." And he's making me look really foolish for worrying about that. I mean, that is
before August.
Like a crazy number that he has put up. I do think we would be remiss without mentioning something that happened in the world of baseball this week, which was the Shohei Ohtani.
best game in the history of baseball. He was a .4 WAR in 1 day.
In one
day. 6 for 6, 3 dingers, 2 doubles, 2 swipes, 10 RBIs.
10 RBIs.
And he went over 50-50 in the same game. And he also went over 40-40 a month ago in the same game.
Yes.
This dude is absolutely done. Even video games don't let you do what he did. It doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. It's not a thing. And that's how freaking remarkable this guy is. Unbelievable.
Right. I feel like Unieski Betancourt had 10 RBIs in a season one time for the Royals.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And Shohei Ohtani did it in a game. I don't think people
spot. From
the leadoff spot. I don't think people understand. Like if you're a casual baseball fan, I don't think you understand how amazing that game. Like that game is. It's fantasy. You really can't do that. And
it's
he
left, right, up, down, A, B,
yeah.
A, B is the constant code. It's like ridiculous.
I mean, it's so cool that he did it. And I mean, it's really going to be, I'm not a Dodgers fan because they are like the bully on the block, but it's going to be
glad
fun.
He's on a winning team,
it's going to be fun to see the dude in playoff baseball.
Yes,
and
it is.
I wish Mike Trout would have taken a cue and gone somewhere so we could have seen that dude in playoff baseball too. But
God, I would have taken him in center field this year. Let's go, Mikey. Join the Royals.
Goodness.
Join the fun, man.
Right? Come on.
DH for us here and there. You can
absolutely crazy, right? So it's
and here's what I'm excited about. I don't know. I'm a huge World Baseball Classic fan. I love it. It's every 3 or 4 years.
You are. You're maybe the biggest fan I know of that. The World Baseball
love it.
Classic.
And so all I remember is I heard a commentator saying, but I want to see how he does on the big stage. He's never played in a playoff game yet. He doesn't really know what to expect. I'm like, bull.
Yeah.
Because he was playing the World Baseball Classic against Team USA for the championship.
That was awesome.
Not only did he get a couple hits, he also closed out the game by striking out none other than Mike Trout, who is still in peak-ass form.
That's right.
Struck him out to win the whole damn thing. This dude is born for the spotlight.
Yeah.
He's doing all this in L.A., the big old spotlights of Dodger history.
That's right.
Oh, my God. So I think it's going to be incredible. He's going to overcome the pitching. Him and Fredbird Freeman are going to do just fine in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Mookman, they've got
it's going to be fun.
Lineup.
It's going to be fun to watch that team in the playoffs for sure.
Yep.
All
right.
All right. Shall we move on to our beloved Chiefs?
Yep. Let's move on. Another squeak by.
Holy cow! I got to tell you guys. Number one, if you like entertainment, watch Chiefs because they do just enough to get the W. And the thing of it is like
plus odds.
The great thing about this team, and I know that there's a lot of haters out there. And listen, if you're a hater, I totally get it. I totally understand it.
Yeah.
I absolutely despise the New England Patriots. Now, I do think there's some significant difference. One, we don't cheat. But
we get all the calls, Chisholm.
We get all the calls. Let me put on record that, again, last year, the third fewest penalties called on their opponents in the NFL was the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, so I know facts, data, it offends some of you, but like that's a real statistic.
But not when it counts, Chisholm.
Yes,
it's not when it counts. It's when they throw the flags.
That's the other thing. The other thing is
to throw out there too.
The other thing is, but it's always the clutch time. So let me just position this to you, contrarian. So the official has decided to not give the Chiefs an advantage because he foresees into the future that there will be a close call down the stretch that will be really impactful that he'll wait for to throw his flag on. And this is probably not that play, so I'm not going to use it now. I'm going to wait till that time.
An hour from now.
Right. I'm going to wait to slant the odds in their favor. I'm not going to start out that way. So like it's absolute nonsense. And here's the reality of it. Yes, there was a missed call in this game in the end zone.
Yep.
Arguably, it was a PI, right? Okay, fine. It was a close call. You could say it was missed. The next series, there were 3 calls against the Chiefs, 2 of which were absolute hogwash. And if you are any kind of objective fan, you would say they're hogwash. So, like, the thing that people hate is we long for greatness and then we hate greatness because it's not our guy doing the greatness. What I would ask you to do is just sit back and enjoy the greatness. Appreciate the fact that they pull this out and do just enough to win and entertain you in your sorry life rooting against them on the couch.
50 years until your guy shows up.
Exactly.
And once he does, you can do the same thing to everybody else in the NFL.
Yeah.
You just gotta wait every 50 years for that guy.
That's right. That's right.
Once you've endured enough 2-14 seasons.
Yes.
And then don't play at the exact same time as another great guy. Sorry, Peyton Manning, and your one.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
He got 2, didn't he? Did he
got
3?
2.
He got one
2.
with Denver, and he got one with the Colts.
Yeah. And the one with Denver, he literally was like underarming the ball to people. He had no arm left in that. That was amazing.
It was a sad thing.
The defense was incredible on that team. Yeah. But,
I saw all kinds of memes this week on the hands of the face that got called, Mahomes got knocked down, got hit in the face, pass interference or roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer.
And then, similar clip, Brock Purdy gets tackled to the ground, no call. And everybody's going wild. Oh, Mahomes gets all the calls and whatever.
All the calls, baby.
Well, guess what? Purdy ain't Mahomes.
Yeah.
So, number one, it's a foul. Okay, so they just missed it on Purdy. But number 2, if you've got the face of the NFL getting hit in the face.
In the face is an automatic.
Yeah.
You're going to get called. I mean, what do people want? They want people to not call that?
So they want to show the Brock Purdy non-call. They conveniently leave out the Chris Jones tackling
oh my
Cousins.
God. That was
gently laying him in bed like a
as he was getting his face mask pushed up all the way in on the run.
He got his helmet.
You couldn't see him well enough to tackle him hard.
He got his helmet ripped off one play and no call for hands to the face.
It's crazy.
Don't mind that because nothing to see here.
And then
We're too busy getting all the calls.
McDuffie's standing, under the basket in the paint, taking the charge, and suddenly that's DPI.
I mean, that was totally initiated by there was so many and as usual, more yardage called against the Chiefs than for the Chiefs. So many data points that show that isn't the case. But as I told my sons,
the Mahomes interceptions negated by penalty or whatever.
Yeah,
it's because percentage wise, he's actually lower than Joe Burrow.
That's right.
But if you look at the raw numbers, he's had more because he's had 5,000 throws on penalty plays.
Yeah,
right. Exactly. Yeah, I don't actually drink Coke Zero. This is actually filled with the tears of the opponents of the Chiefs and their bitterness.
Full.
And so it's constantly refilled every week. It's phenomenal.
I know the Ravens tears lasted. They were delicious too.
Oh, so good. That being said,
tears, those always help.
Oh, so good. Now that being said, we're not playing well. This is what's amazing. It's totally amazing to think about. We're 3-0. We've beaten the Bengals and the Ravens. And a surprising Atlanta team, but the Bengals and the Ravens, most importantly.
Falcons could have won that game easily.
Totally.
So
we don't. We're 3-0. We currently don't have our number 1 running back. We don't have the guy we signed to be our number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce is playing and Patrick Mahomes has had 2 of the worst games of his career in the last 2 weeks. And we're 3-0.
Self-admittedly says, I'm not playing well.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're 3-0.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's awesome. So
there's some magic in the team.
Here's the good thing. So I'm going to start with a couple good. Is Carson Steele comes up 17 for 72 in his first start. There is nothing wrong with that. That is exceptionally solid.
It's
from a dude who was never even going to be on this team in mid-July. Hell, probably in mid-August. And here
fumbles.
He is,
man.
Did you see that his sister had a wedding?
Yeah.
Because a year
ago, he wasn't going to be on a team.
Yeah. They were
night.
planning for him to be on a team, clearly.
Yeah. What's funny, if he would have played just the Thursday night game this week or an early Sunday, they probably would have flown out and just held everything up for him. But no, it's primetime Sunday night games. Like, ayo, whatever. Another highlight, and it's one that I think we're just going to be able to say every freaking week. Rashee Rice.
Whew.
12 for 110 in a tutty. And when you look at Pat Mahomes' final line, 26 of 39, do a little simple math, cover to carry the one. Yeah, man. 12 to Rashee Rice, 14 to the rest of the team.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we have a legitimate number one.
And 8 dudes caught passes, by the way. It's not like, I mean, it's just distro. But when you need your offense is Rashee Rice in the run game. And then I'm going to hit the open guys because I'm Patrick Mahomes, and I don't care what your number is. You're just open.
That's right.
And that's kind of what it looks like. So that was good. Xavier Worthy, nothing special. I think he had a run, and then he had 2 catches for 17. Samaje Perine, who we kind of were looking forward to see what he would do this week and didn't know what role he'd really do. He had 6 runs for 25, and I think he caught a couple balls out of the backfield. Totally fine. Totally adequate. So we're going to move just fine.
How about the return of Juju Smith-Schuster for a tutty?
And Juju.
Yep.
And it's just looked right, man. He looks better in Chiefs red anyway.
He does.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I was really happy with, Nick Bolton, 7 tackles.
Yes.
Oh, man.
And our left tackle.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
The left tackle.
Wanya Morris looked good. They made a big deal about that. I guess I didn't know it, but they said he probably would have been the starter all along, but he was a little banged up coming out of preseason.
Yeah.
So Kingsley did fine,
I'm not down on Kingsley. Like, I think the dude, I think he's got a bright future. I think he's going to spot on the team. He just is a rookie, and he had to learn some rookie stuff. You know.
But yeah, Nick Bolton, go back into that, Chisholm, because he played a great game.
Well, he played a great game, and I think what you see with Nick Bolton is like, when you use Nick Bolton, doing Nick Bolton things, right? This comes back to the scheme again. When Nick Bolton doesn't have to drop back in pass coverage, when Nick Bolton doesn't have to, chase a running quarterback around the field, when he can be like, I'm going to be a missile at the line, and I'm going to go right at a runner and just destroy them. Like, he's awesome to watch in that role. He's really good at it. And
he's good at Arbor Day. He just plants people.
He
plants them all day long in the backfield. He's it's Earth Day every day for Nick Bolton, baby. 32s, planting 32 trees a day.
That was no slouch, right? Bijan is a heck of a running back.
And, he's great running back.
And they were touting that outside run scheme all night. Like, this is what the Falcons do. This is who they've mowed over the first 2 weeks, is doing these outside runs, and the Chiefs shut it down. And
that's right.
The main reason for that.
Yeah. I mean, there is definitely, I think the defense, and we always talk about how much faith we have in Spags. And the reality is, if the Chiefs, the statistic was something insane that I saw, but if the Chiefs allow less than 20 points, they are undefeated in the Spags era. So, that's pretty impressive. And the fact of the matter is, like, you don't have to be hitting on all cylinders. And let's be honest, this is a very similar trajectory to what it was last year. Yep. There were a lot of kinks to be worked out. There were a lot of
winning the games.
Yeah. The only difference was we were losing a lot of these games. So, and then everything comes into play. And I think that the difference is when you win a lot of games like the Chiefs have in the last 5 years, Reed is thinking about the postseason. Already. And he's thinking about, what do I need to do to get people to the postseason? What do we need to set up? What do we need to learn? How do I need to get this team ready. And if you drop some plays and if you don't grind people into oblivion, he doesn't care. He really doesn't care about like putting his foot to the throat. If there's something that's working a lot of teams will just be like, we're just going to do that the whole game and we're going to destroy him. He's not thinking it like that. He's thinking like, okay, this worked great. Now I need to work on this. And we're going to try to do this. And you're like, oh, why aren't we doing that anymore? I want to see more points. And he's like, dude, I'm thinking about the playoffs.
Yeah. He's already planting seeds on plays for January. It's great.
So what is your mindset if you're Andy Reid and you see Baltimore and Cincinnati struggling so bad out of the gates? Are you getting more creative these next few weeks and trying new stuff and like, I don't know, how does that change your playoff?
I don't know if it does.
Strategy.
I think that Reed is paranoid enough that he never feels good. So like I think what he's looking at right now is he's sitting there going, oh my God, look at Buffalo. Like look how good Buffalo looks. Like, what are we gonna have to do to go out?
Houston's not gonna be a good matchup either, just speaking.
No, they're not.
Because he runs around enough to scramble, and C.J. Stroud also is a gamer. So I'm kind of already looking at those two. They're going to be in. Yeah. And then what's funny is you cannot look past Pittsburgh's going to be in the playoffs, and those doofenshmirtzes is kind of the team we talked about. Prue, like Justin Fields is the quarterback that Pittsburgh's always needed.
Yeah,
and he fits perfect. Oh my God, it's just blue collar running the ball.
It's totally blue collar running the ball.
And then when the play's there, he's hitting guys because there's so much attention paid up there. And then the defense keeps it low. He doesn't have to do everything to win a game. Just don't lose the game. And he's not. But that's going to be – Pittsburgh's going to be in the playoffs this year. And
yes, they are.
Buffalo's going to be in the playoffs this year. Houston will be in the playoffs this year. So we already know a handful of teams will be there, barring absolute catastrophes.
That's right.
Down the stretch. But we know – Cincinnati better start winning. And stat-wise, there's only been, one of 120 teams with an 0-3 start?
Yeah. They're in pretty big trouble, I think.
Yeah, they're in deep sauce right now. But
especially given that they don't have a, I think the difference this year in Cincinnati, they've had slow starts the last couple of years, and they seem to, hey, listen, you don't have a Joe Mixon anymore. Your running back room looks very different than what it did. You don't have the depth at wide receiver that you had in previous years. Like and their defense is the thing that's worse about them is their defense right now. Their defense looks really suspect.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that they're digging out of that hole. That first game against Pittsburgh that they play is going to be really telling.
I do too. Sure. I think that's going to be a big one. I think seeing them play each other, we're going to learn a lot. That AFC North.
Yeah.
But
I do think the best unit in football is the Pittsburgh defense right now.
It's good. But I'm gonna say I like Minnesota's better though. But Pittsburgh's really good.
Yeah. I mean Minnesota, but I mean I think
Minnesota's faced San Francisco and Houston.
But I feel like the difference is Minnesota's is scheme. And I feel like I'm not dissing that. Like the scheme is
Watt is
great.
A scheme too.
The scheme is great, but if you look at the
players,
the Joes, the Jimmies and Joes on Pittsburgh's side, I'm like, holy crap! Like it's like every player. I'm like, how do you block that guy? What do you do with that guy? It's
you're right.
Stupid.
It's like 12v11 almost.
Yeah, it does feel like it.
All right, so let's pivot into some picks, man. So
all right.
Good Chiefs segment. I think, like I said, we're looking forward to this week.
This week we got the Chargers.
We got the Chargers who are coming in nicked. I'm not going to do anything that Lewis would find suspect. I'm not even going to talk about. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to highlight that their best player is suspended. I'm not going to highlight that 2 tackles are out. I'm not going to highlight that Herbert is not playing. I'm not going to say any of that. I'm just going to say the Chiefs need to play hard because these games are never what they're supposed to be.
That's true.
Because Easton Stick, I believe, gave us a game last year.
I
mocked him last year, and that was dumb. I'm not mocking anything. Easton Stick is a phenomenal player. He plays hard. He's got heart.
I've always liked it, Easton Stick.
I've always liked Easton Stick. I think he's undervalued in today's game.
Totally.
What he brings to the table. So
absolutely.
Let's just keep our eye on the prize and take care of this very worthy opponent this weekend.
That's right.
And just keep the pedal to the metal.
Absolutely.
Better,
there you go, Lou.
I'm with
Colton
you.
better show up again to play because they are going to run the ball.
And they got 2 good running backs, and they figured out how to do it. So
they're going to try anyway. So they better be ready.
Harbaugh's going to have a scheme to be angry with us.
Oh, so Harbaugh is not going to roll over in this game. He's going to bring an A game, and they're going to have. Oh, he wants to match wits with Reed. This is going to be something he's super excited about. It's going to be a tight game. It always is when we play the Chargers, for sure.
Tighter than the line would suggest.
Yep.
Yes.
So let's pivot into picks. I'll rehash our shrewdness listeners. I've got to apologize for our sad start. But there's been a lot of surprises in the league. We are adjusting fire. We're reevaluating our models, which is looking at stuff and just seeing what we feel like. But changing it. If I feel super strong about it, I'm immediately fading and taking the opposite.
That's right. So, we adjust.
That being said, we'll rehash last week because if anything, we're going to be transparent with you, shrewdness listeners.
That's right.
So last week, Lewis took Cleveland against his own betting rule, but he had too many scotches, and he decided to go with Cleveland. You never bet Cleveland for or against, no matter what you do, the opposite. So don't do it.
Kevin Stefanski does not deserve
a
betting line.
That was a loss. I went with trust the Baker chart. Even when I was making the pick last year, I highlighted there's a Baker chart. And if I get the wrong part of it, I'm going to be screwed. Bad Baker showed up last week.
Yes,
they got absolutely fleeced by Denver, who had shown no signs of life. We were looking for a pulse from Denver, and we thought Tampa would just all they had to do is win by a touchdown. No big deal. They've been housing people. Loss. All right, New Orleans, Padog said, let's take the 45 point per team since, 8 games ago, and they will easily bring it.
Well, so I got to defend my pick a bit. They were in control of that game until
they weren't.
Until they weren't.
No,
Saquon said, "What's up?"
So the Saquon play and then the play to Goddard at the end of the game was what sealed it.
Yeah. That's
a crossing pattern, and the 2 New Orleans guys ran into each other.
I was like, what defense is that?
It was super unfortunate crossing pattern and just not paying attention or whatever. That sprung Goddard for 60 yards.
Yeah.
So
I
watched
True. Mine was never in hand. It was out of hand from snap one. So Baker decided to suck him just right off the bat.
Well, and I got
one winner. Yep. So Chisholm.
I'll be fair. Dex was there too. Yeah. But I definitely had a feeling with the Red Rocket, and
Carolina came through for us.
So we're 1-3. Yeah. Which puts us at what on the year?
Just under 500.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. So this week, Lou isn't here, but he has elected. We don't like it. It's smelly.
We don't. It's smelly, but we're making the bet.
Exactly.
5-6-1. 5-6-1 is what we're
all right.
Okay.
So Lewis he's mailing in his ballot, and his ballot is plus 7.5 at the New York Jets. He wants Denver. Denver's smelly, stinky Bo Nix in Denver going on the road to the New York Jets, who look like gangbusters last week with a rejuvenated, getting healthier each week Aaron Rodgers. But he believes in Sean Payton. I hate this bet. I'm probably going to bet a negative bet just as a separate one. But for the shrewdness, we're doing it. I'm betting it. We're parlaying it. We're individually doing it. I'm teasing it. We're doing it all. So
we do make the bets we say we're going to make. So we put our money where our mouth is.
Yeah, and sometimes we have to buy back in. This is what it is.
We do.
But it's always fun. All right. I am going to go this week with I'm just taking less points. I look at Pittsburgh and Indianapolis Colts, and I see struggle to score. It's at 39.5 right now. It was at 40.5. It's already lost a point. But I still feel fine with that because this looks like 21-17 all over it. And I don't care who wins. Don't give a crap. I think Pittsburgh should win, but I don't really care. So I'm going under 39.5. Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, under. All right.
I like that. I like that pick. And I will say Anthony Richardson's looked little sketchy in the last couple weeks. Yep. He's starting to look, like he doesn't really know what's up.
Are they really going to put up more than 21 points?
Right. And Pittsburgh only kicks field goals, so
that's it. They kick field goals and they eat clock.
Right.
So that's what's up.
That's right.
All right, Chisholm, who you got this week?
All right. Bear with me, guys, because I know this one's kind of stinky too. But the thing that I have noted in the many years of betting that I have done, and I have a pretty good stack of years now, is that I cannot go with my gut always. And even when I feel like something is like just blatantly obvious and, why in the world would I pick that? The team that stinks so stinking bad right now and looks just like an absolute train wreck is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Woof.
So I tend to run towards those teams.
Run to the stink.
Here's the deal. They do look bad. They look really bad. There's not much about them that I like. But I look at that team and I go,
they're so bad, in fact.
I look at that team and I go, you know what? Trevor Lawrence won national championships. Travis Etienne's not a bad running back. They shouldn't be this bad. The other thing that I like about them is they run a lot of zone defense. And what we've seen
unsuccessfully.
Right. What we see, they try to run. They run zone defense. And so
Buffalo could barely adjust to that.
Right. Josh Allen happens to love that. He loves zone defense. CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud likes it too, man.
No, he doesn't. Historically, if you look at CJ Stroud, he struggles more against the zone. And so Houston looked
this
bad
up at all.
Houston looked bad. Houston looked really bad this week. Jacksonville looked really bad this week. It's 7 points, though. In the NFL, I'm like, oh, my God. Is Jacksonville really going to lose by 7 to Houston? I don't think so. Jacksonville, lock it up, +7. Run to the stink.
Prove it. All right. What kind of garbage you have for us, Padog?
I think I could flip a coin at this point and have a decent shot.
Oh my!
So I do like the Pittsburgh and Indy pick under there. Not so sure about the other two. I'll bet them. I'm a diehard shrewdness
baby.
fan.
That's right. Run to that stink.
I'll throw in my contribution to the gambling gods.
Yeah.
So I'm a little torn. I got two picks that I kind of like here. Number one, I'm tempted to go back to the Pats.
Okay.
They are 10-point underdogs.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of points in the NFL.
San Francisco just came off a loss, though. I'm not sure if still no Debo, still no CMC. Kittle's banged up a little bit, but I think is going to play.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I'm torn. I'm leaning New England +10.
Mm-hmm.
The other game that strikes me as a shootout is Washington and Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nobody's playing defense in that game.
Right.
They're playing that Jacksonville defense against Buffalo.
That's right.
The Jacksonville zone.
That's right.
They're impenetrable.
You know the Tampa 2? It's the Jacksonville 2 is what's happening now. They're running the Jacksonville 2.
They're playing whatever the opposite is of the steel curtain that they play in Pittsburgh.
They got the curtain open. Oh, crap. We're supposed to close that thing? Oh, my gosh. Jacksonville got a curtain open.
They're
That's
playing
right.
the Washington Blinds or something.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
They play a very firm zone where they don't ever move. They just stand there.
It's more of a two-hand touch.
So I'm not sure who's going to win that shootout, but I like the Washington Arizona over 3.5.
All right.
So one of those two, you guys can help me flip a coin. Talk me into one of them.
All right. Let me see.
Let me see what the trends are.
I'm thinking.
Every time there's a shootout, it goes under.
Well, yeah, so it started at 46, and now it's up to 50.
No, I don't like that.
I kind of like under 50 and a half if I'm going to go anywhere.
I don't like that. I'll tell you what, I I think I like the New England pick.
New England started at plus 12, and now it's plus 10. So people are jumping on it.
I feel like 10 points.
That's a lot to beat a team.
In the NFL, you just...
Even though they just got fleeced by over 10 points last week.
Yeah, but they even more reason to do it, because it's like you don't see it happen multiple weeks in a row in the NFL to a team either.
Unless you're Jacksonville.
Right.
I mean, they upset the Bengals week 1, which I picked.
Yeah.
And then they lost in overtime against Seattle. So they've played, and then the Jets last week. They've
on a
played
short week.
They played 3 good teams. And now the 49ers, they finally get some relief next week, but they've had a tough go here the first few weeks. And
they
have with 2 out of 3. So,
what do you want to do?
I'm gonna say Patriots at 49ers.
All right, I like it.
All right, 80 plus 10. All right, wrap it up.
All right,
I like it. So
anything
our picks
else
to
you
rehash.
Want to talk? Go through our picks real quick.
So rehash, we got Lou is on Denver plus 7.5. I'm on the Pittsburgh Colts under 39.5 points. We got Chisholm with plus 7 taking the points with Jacksonville at Houston. And then we got Padog taking 10 points at San Fran.
Got a lot of points. That's going to make a juicy parlay and juicy teaser. Juicy teaser. When you get those teasers, you're going to have 16 points for New England. You're going to have 13 points for the Jags. Holy cow. We can't miss. We can't miss.
Famous
Free
last
money.
words.
It's printing money here. Oh, my gosh.
When else it was printing money? Last week.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for this edition.
Are we going to talk?
That's right.
We didn't mention Mizzou's.
Oh, yeah. Let me give you 30 seconds on Mizzou. 4-0 now. That's the positive. Negative is the last 2 games they've definitely underwhelmed, and they've actually gone down in the polls. So somehow they managed to go from number 6 in the polls to like number 10 or 11 in the polls by winning. So that lets you know how bad they have looked. Luckily, they have a bye week, and then they go to Texas A&M. That Texas A&M game will be kind of their first test. We'll see what they're really all about. But if you look at Mizzou's schedule this year, they really only have a couple tough games. They have 1 game that should be a loss on the road against Alabama, at Alabama.
That'd be tough.
But the rest of the games are very winnable. They have the easiest SEC schedule since they've probably come into the SEC. So I think we've got a real chance at seeing Mizzou in the playoffs this year. Hopefully they're working out some kinks and they get it figured out. But it was a rough week. But hey, rough week with the W. It's a W, right? Yep. So they're still sitting at 4-0.
Silver lining.
That's right.
All right. That's it for the Shrewdness Podcast this week. Like and follow on your favorite social media platforms. We'll be back next week to talk about hopefully the Royals making it into the playoffs. It's going to be tight.
Believe.
And we will see how the Chiefs fare against the Chargers this week. So stay shrewd out there, listeners. This is the Shrewdness Podcast signing off.